नोटिफिकेशन आ जाएगा. यू आर लाइव. Okay. Hello everyone. Am I audible? Just waiting for the confirmation. Yeah. Okay. So hi guys, welcome back to our channel Codis Arcade. This is Saurabh, and today we are in one more live Java session. And let me just give you a brief recap of what we have already covered in this previous classes. Okay. So we are talking about a Java weekly live session, right? And just giving you a small recap of what we have already done till now. So we have talked about the history of programming language. Okay, and if anyone is new to the channel and they are watching this live feed for the first time, so you should know that this is the actual content that you should be learning from scratch, so that you can get used to any programming language, be it C, C++ or Java. Okay, so this is what we learned in the beginning, and then some important points like, say, what is coding, what is programming, and what do you mean by a program. Sometimes it is also known as a source code. Okay, these are the stuff that you need to know. And then after that you should know the difference between a compiler and an interpreter. All these things we have discussed in our previous classes. Guys, if you have not gone through this topics in my previous live classes, please go through them, and I will give the link in the description. Don't worry about it. Try to learn all these things, because these are very important to learn any programming language in the world. Okay, after that you can go on with the core concepts that we have, and after that I have showed you why we are learning Java, why is this very important. Okay, the features that we are talking about, we have learned the features also, and then we have learned about the data types that we have in Java. Okay, all these things we have already learned, and after that I also talked about the variables. Then we talked about the data types. Then we talked about the naming conventions. As I had told you already, they are the Pascal naming convention, they are the camel naming convention, and sometimes if anyone is working with Python, they also have this snake case, or it is sometimes called underscore case. Okay, these are the naming conventions that we have generally in any programming language. Okay, most of the times this one is used in Python. Okay, so all these things we have already discussed. After that we went on to learn about a very important concept in programming. For any programming language, we learnt about our operators. Okay, and I have given a dedicated lecture of 2 weeks on operators only. We have covered all the operators that we had, and I will just give you the first: arithmetic operators, assignment operators, logical, bitwise, relational, or you can say comparison. Then we had the unary operators, then we had the ternary operator. All these things we have discussed properly, and in all the operators I have given you the types also. Okay, if you have not gone through these videos, please go through them. We have all the links given in your channel. If you are new to the channel, guys, I have one more request for you guys. If you really like the content that we are bringing to you, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon, because that will help you get notified about the latest videos that is coming in our channel. Okay, and right now I am bringing a live class on Java, and after this Ashank sir will come with a live class on C++, where he will be teaching you about conditional statements today. Okay, so stay tuned for that video as well, for the live session as well. And thank you guys for all supporting us, and I'm telling you once again, If you are really new to the channel and if you get motivated by the content that you are bringing, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon, okay? And share these videos with more and more people that you have, because that's how we get a larger reach and we get more subscribers. That is our plan, and thank you for supporting us till now, okay? So in today's video, in today's live session, I am going to cover a very important concept in programming called the conditional statements. Okay, so first I will divide it like this so that you can get a clear picture of what I am trying to tell about. So the topic that we are discussing now will be a very huge topic, so it has to be divided into parts. Okay, so we cannot teach everything in one single live session. It is not feasible at all, and I want everyone to understand all the minute details of everything that we are teaching. Okay, so the whole vast concept that we are going to decide or discuss is actually decision making, looping, comma, branching. Okay, this is a very vast topic, and all your programming languages are very much dependent on this topics or concepts. So we'll be having to learn this properly. So in this there are certain categories. So let me divide them into categories right now. So here you will get conditional statements, then you will have our looping statements, and then you have the jump statements. Okay, so in decision making, looping and branching, we have this three kind of statements: the conditional statements, the looping statements, and the jump statements. Out of that, today I will start with the conditional statements. I don't think I will be able to finish all of them in one go, but I will try to give you a brief about what are conditional statements, and then in the next upcoming classes and sessions we will be discussing about the looping statements as well, and also about the jump statements gradually. Okay, so that is what I want to do, guys. Every time when I teach something or any new topic to you guys, I want you all to learn everything from scratch, so that you don't miss out on any minute concept also. That is my target all the time. Okay, so for the time being, as I said, I will be starting with conditional statements. Now, what do you mean by decision making? First of all, based on certain operations, we have to make some decisions. Okay, in life also, say if I have more money, I will buy a car, I will buy a house, something like that. Similarly, these are small conditions that we have set in order to do some work, right, some activity. Similarly, in case of programming also, based on certain results, we have to do certain other criteria or some kind of work. Okay, so suppose I'm just giving you a simple example so that you can understand. Say if it is raining, then I will not go out to play. This is invalid, I will not go. Okay, yeah, there can be certain other examples where I can say if it is raining, I will go to play. Say suppose you want to play soccer, then obviously everyone loves to play soccer in the rain. That's a different thing. But for the time being, what I am saying is, if this condition is true, then I will not go out to play. I am just taking a random example. Okay, so based on this criteria, I will either do something or not do something. Are you getting it? So these are called decision making statements. Okay, you have to make a decision on certain criteria. Say suppose I have n rupees with me. If this n is greater than 100, say I will go for a good dinner, just for example. If it is less than 100, then I will do something else. I will eat a light snack. Okay, depending on the budget that I have, I will do some criteria work. Is it clear to you? So these kind of statements or conditions are called decision making. And loops we will discuss properly, but for the timing I am just giving you an idea. Say suppose you want to repeat something multiple number of times. For that we use looping statements, and here also we have to check some conditions. So decision making, looping and branching. Suppose based on some condition you have to do some other two conditions. This can be branched together. So all these things will be covering up in this 3 parts or points. Okay, the conditional statements, the looping statements and the jump statements. Okay, so initially in the beginning, let's learn about the conditional statements properly. Okay, and after that we will go on to learn about the looping and the jump statements. Fine. So our today's criteria or our target should be learning about conditional statements. So if anyone has learned C programming or C++ or any other language and they have some knowledge, they will be able to tell that there are so many types of different conditional statements. Okay, so this here says that based on certain criteria of some operations, we will do some extra work. We will be getting into some condition or conclusion. Okay, so suppose I am saying just take a simple criteria, even number. How do you say whether a number is even or odd? There are so many ways, guys. Normally what people do, by definition, an even number is what? Suppose I have a number 10. If I do divided by 2, so it becomes 2 5s are 10 and the remainder is 0. So the definition of even number will be when a number is completely divisible by 2, it is called a even number. There should be nothing left out. Okay, it should be completely divisible. And when is a number completely divisible by 2? When the remainder is 0. You know the remainder theorem, right? Remainder theorem. Divisor equal to division into quotient plus remainder. So here it is, I can say 10 is equal to 2 into 5 plus 0. Okay, this is the theorem. And here you can see this 10 is here and 2 into 5 is completely dividing 10. So we are getting remainder as 0. Okay, makes sense? So the definition of an even number is when a number is completely divisible by 10, it is called a even number. Otherwise, all the other numbers are called odd numbers. We know that, right? So for this we can easily write a conditional statement. If a number is completely divisible by 2, it is an even number. Otherwise, it is an odd number. So this kind of scenarios will actually be utilizing the conditional statements that we have. Okay, hope you understood that. Based on a certain criteria, we will decide whether a number is something or not. Based on a certain criteria, we will decide that we have to do this or do that. Okay, these kind of statements are known as conditional statements in programming. Fine. So let me just tell you the types. Types of conditional statements. There are lots of them. We will discuss about all of them one by one. Okay, the first one, it is called a simple if statement. The second one, or let us discuss them one by one only. Okay. The simple if statement actually takes and checks only one condition. Okay, just remember this. For your future reference also you can remember this. Only one condition. So always in the interviews they can ask you the syntax. So here we will use a if statement. The syntax will be if, say there is some condition, okay, and then here you will have a statement that will be executed. Okay, so the condition is that if this condition that you have here is true, then only the control of the code will come inside this block. This curly brackets is actually a block. You can say it is a block of code. Okay, so only if this condition is true, then in that scenario only the control will come inside this and this statement will be executed. Otherwise it will not be executed. Okay, so in the simple if statement only we can check one condition. If this is true, then only it will execute, otherwise it will not do anything. It will go to the end of the loop and go to the next line. Okay, fine. So if you want to see an example, let's do it like this. Okay, so yes, so this was the earlier one that we had about operators. I will just delete this now. Fine, as I told you, suppose I have a number int n is equal to, say, suppose 10. Okay, now I want to check whether this number is a even number. So I will say if remainder, right? So we have to use the modulus operator. N mod of 2 equal to 0. I will say S out even. Okay, so here you can see 10 is an even number. When you divide 10 by 2, the remainder will be equal to 0. So at the end you should get this printed. Okay, so if you want it to be printed in a different way, you can say n plus is even. So n value is 10, it will be like that. So let me run this here. You can see 10 is even. You can see the output, right? 10 is even. 10 is the number, is even, because the statement is true. Okay, because this statement is resulting to true, that's why it is going inside this block and executing this line of code. But as I told you, it checks only one condition and there is only one result, only if the statement is true. But if it is not true, then it will not execute properly. Okay, it will not go inside this block only. It's like I am going on the road, and if I see something, if it is really important for me, then I will go there. So if this code is really executing to true, then only it will go inside this statement, otherwise it will not go inside. Okay, so suppose if I write 101, 101 is a odd number, so by default this is not true, so it will not go inside. It will just finish with exit code 0. There will be no output at all if you see carefully. See, there is nothing printed here because 101 is not an even number and this part of the code is not true. It is not executing to true. So that's why it is not going inside this block. As I am saying, guys, all the time, you press enter. Okay, this actually is a block of code. This block of code, it will only execute if this line is true. If this line is not ending up to be true, it will not go inside this block. Understanding, right? That's why I have been mentioning this as a block of code. You understood, right, what is block of code? So this is the criteria of using a simple if statement. There is only one condition which will be checked, and if it is true, then only this part of the statement will be executed. Otherwise it will just go to the next line. Line by line is going, so it will go to the end of the statement. It will execute, it will just exit like this. Process finished with exit code 0. I hope now it makes sense. This is the first type of conditional statement, which is the simple if statement. Okay, but now the problem is, suppose I want to display the two things. Either it is an even number or an odd number. That can be a criteria, right? Either you have to say, because this is sometimes incomplete. In some kind of cases it is okay. When you have a certain criteria, you will do something, some condition based on that. Say suppose I am saying if I am not eligible to vote, there are elections going on, right? Yesterday only we had vote in Bangalore, Karnataka. So in that case, what I am saying is, if you were not eligible to vote, how are you going to be allowed into the election chamber? Correct? You will be not allowed to at least go and vote. So based on that, I can say, if this age, say suppose I am taking that example only, something like this. If age is equal to, say, 10, then here I just have to check greater than or less than, right? So I can say if age is greater than equal to 18, I can say I can take a string variable like this. String name is equal to say Rahul, just for example. Okay, this is a string variable. We will talk about all these things better, but I just want to show you an example. Here I will say name plus is eligible to vote. Sorry for the spelling mistake, it should be I. Okay, makes sense. So here it will print like this: Rahul is eligible to vote. But in this case, this is not greater than equal to 18, right? So this will not execute. If you see here, if I run this, there will be no output, blank, because obviously it is not possible. So in that case, let's take some other value, say 21. Now 21 is greater than equal to 18. In this scenario, it will print as name, which is Rahul, plus is eligible to vote. This plus is called concatenation. Okay guys, we will talk about that properly in our upcoming videos when you are learning more about strings. For the time being, just understand that we are adding up this Rahul content with the other part of the data that I have written. So if I run this now, just see the output now. See guys, now it says Rahul is eligible to vote because the age is 21, which is greater than equal to 18. Okay, so there is only one condition. If that condition is true, then only it will go inside this particular statement or the block of code, that you see here. Okay, makes sense. So this is about the simple if statement. Now let's do one thing. Let's go to the second one, which is called the if else statement. Okay. And guys, please remember the syntax also. The syntax is very important because most of the times in the competitive interviews, in the Viva rounds, they will ask you the syntax. Most of the times they don't give you to write any code. If you don't remember the syntax only, how will you write the code, right? So make sure you understand the syntax properly and keep on practicing that. If you want to note it down, you can just note it down in your notebooks. Okay? And if you want to learn better about this, you can comment us. I will tell even more proper way of writing the syntax. Okay? Now let's take one more, the second one, which is our if else statement. The second one, if else statement, the second conditional statement. Here it is something like this. It has exactly two conditions. Okay. Now I think this is going to make sense to you guys, because here what happens, if it is true, then it will do something. If it is false, then it will do something else. It's pretty simple. So just like that case that we had, if a number 10, either it will be even or it will be odd. This makes more sense, right? It is more readable, more understandable. Similarly, if the age is 18, it will be either eligible to vote or it is not eligible to vote. Okay, this guy can vote or not vote, simple as that. So here we have exactly two cases. If it is true, then it will go here. If it is false, then it will go here. Okay, so the syntax here will be something like this. If condition, if this condition is true, then it will go to this block. Say I will say block true, and here we have a statement that will be executed, or else we will write something like this. We will have a else block. In the else block, we will simply have a block, because see, if someone is eligible, he or she will vote. Otherwise, if it is not eligible, obviously he will not vote. He is not eligible for that. So the else block, you will not have any condition. In many colleges, when you go for placement drives, we have seen people write condition in the else block as well. Guys, this is not a good practice. You should not do it. And maybe if you are doing it in your interviews, you might get rejected also. So make sure I am telling you, learn everything from scratch and understand the syntax properly. Okay. Obviously, very practical. Either I am going or I am not going. So if I am not going here, here I am going, right? So here there is no condition to check. If this condition is true, then it will go inside this block. Otherwise, it will go inside this block. So here in the else block, it will be false block, and here some kind of statement will be executed. Okay, this is the exact thing about the if else block. Okay, so again I am repeating, if this condition is true, whatever condition it is, if it is true, then it will go inside the true block. If it is false, then it will go inside the else block. Okay, and guys, I forgot to tell you one more thing. Let me just tell you. Just remember, if there is only one line inside the block, you don't even need the curly brackets. Okay, any if or else block, if you have only one condition, you can just ignore writing the curly brackets, because the compiler understands that there is only one block. That's why the developer or the user has written a single line. Okay, and there will be a gap. There will be a particular gap between this block and the block starting here. This block is actually called indentation. Okay, and this is equal to 1 tab space, or it can be 4 spaces. Okay, this thing is not so important in Java or C or C++. Most of the times this is a very important concept in Python. So we are not going to focus more on this, but just remember that the block, the else code will be separated from the inner block by 4 spaces or 1 tab space. Okay, so let's try to understand this with an example. So here, this is our example that we are talking about, right? So here, age is 21 and Rahul is eligible to vote. We got the output here, see? It says Rahul is eligible to vote. Suppose in some circumstances, Rahul is not eligible to vote. In that case, what we can do? We can write a else block. And as I said, there is no condition in the else block. We can just give the curly bracket like this and say that I'll copy the same thing, paste it here, and I will just write the reverse, not eligible to vote. Okay, but in this case you can see, because this is true, the output will be Rahul is eligible to vote. Fine, you can see eligible to vote, no problem whatsoever. But suppose I have a age called 12, obviously this guy is not eligible to vote now. So it will skip this first block, it will go to the false block, because as I said, if this condition is true, then only the control goes inside this block. This particular thing is called the block I am mentioning. See, I have highlighted that with the yellow colors. This is the block actually. If this statement is true, this condition, then only it will go inside this block. Otherwise, this block will be skipped and then the control will go to the next else block here. Fine. So in this case, you can see that 12 is not greater than equal to 18. So it will skip this block, go here, and the output will be Rahul is not eligible to vote. Let's verify. See guys, Rahul is not eligible to vote. So this is about the if else statement. There are exactly 2 conditions, one true condition, one false condition. Based on whether it is true or false, it will execute that particular block in the code. Okay, and please remember the syntax as well. And with this, I want to show you one more thing. So here, let me change this thing into a different kind of statement. I will say int n is equal to 10, and then I am saying if, guys, it's a very important interview question. Can you guys tell me, how do you check whether a number is even or odd without using the modulus operator? It is a very interesting question. I am saying check even odd of a number without modulus operator. Can you answer this? You cannot use this modulus operator. Can you think of this? I have a number called 10. I already know that this is an even number, but how do you check this? Normally what do you write? We have already seen that. I will say if number modulus of 2 equal to 0, then I will say S out even, else I will say S out odd. Okay, and here if you want to add the number, you can say n is even, or else I can say n plus is odd. Fine. So here we know 10 is an even number. It will give you the output like that. See here, 10 is even. Fine. How do you check the same thing without using the modulus operator? Can anyone tell me? For this you have to know binary properly, guys. Let me give you an example. To check the even or odd property of any number, you have to know binary. Say suppose I have the number 10. 1010 is the binary of 10, right? So here you can see that the last bit of that number is 0. Suppose I take a odd number 0 1 0 1, this is equal to 5. You can see the last bit of that odd number is 5. So you know that, right? The last bit is called the least significant bit and the first bit is called the most significant bit. Here also this is the MSB, this is the LSB, this is the LSB. So wherever in the binary of any decimal number you have the last bit as 0, it is an even number. Okay, wherever in the binary of any number you have the last bit as 1, it is a odd number. Okay, how do you check this? Because the number given is in decimal, correct? How do you check this in binary? So for that we use the bitwise operators. Okay, so what I can do is I have 1010 as my number, and then say suppose I am taking 0001. This is 10, this is 1. Let's do 10 and 1. What do you get? AND operator. 0 1 is 1, all the others will become 0. What is the final output? The final output is 1. That means whenever we have, sorry, one second, the final output is not 1, 0 and 1 is also 0, so it is 0. Fine. So whenever you see that after doing AND with a number you are getting the final output as 0, that means the last bit is 0 only. That's why it is an even number. Make sense? I will repeat the same thing again. As I said, I have a number 10 whose binary is 1010, then I am doing AND 10 and 1, that is 0001. Now if you do AND means both the inputs have to be high. So here it is 0, this is 0, this is 0, this is 0, ultimately it is 0. Okay, that means the last bit is 0. So if this is the case, when we do a number AND 1 and it is equal to 1, it is an odd number. For example, if I take 0101 and do 0001, this is 5, this is 1, I am doing 5 and 1. Let's see the output. This becomes 1, this becomes 0, 0, 0, this is 1. See? So as I said, number and 1, if this is equal to 1, it is an odd number. If I do number and 1 and you get 0, this is an even number. Okay, that is how you are going to solve this. Okay, guys, it's not a so difficult concept, but sometimes you don't get it in your mind when you ask this in the interview. So make sure you remember this. Okay, so I will solve this right now. Okay, so here I will just write like this. If number and 1 is equal to 0, as I said here, it is an even number, the last bit 0. Otherwise, if it is not 0, obviously it is an odd number. Let's verify this. For 10 it will be an even number. Let's run this and check. See, it says 10 is even. Say suppose we are taking a different number, say 101. 101 is a odd number, so it should say 101 is odd. See, 101 is odd. Let's take 1014. So this is an even number, it should say 1014 is an even number. Okay, got it? So guys, with this I have showed you a very important question also, and we have covered two of the conditional statements also, the simple if and the if else statements. Okay, so I think too much of information in one session is not good enough. So what I will do, I will just wind up today with this only, and in the next live session we will be coming up with the next part of the conditional statements. Okay, so guys, if you have any doubts regarding the content that we are providing, if you have any silly doubt also, please don't forget to ask your doubts, because that really motivates us to solve them. And if it is a very difficult doubt also, we will learn for you. Okay, if we don't know, we will just struggle and we will and at the same time we will try to find out the answers, because our ultimate goal is to pass on whatever knowledge we have to you, because we want all of you to be learning coding in a very easy way. That is our target. Fine. So thank you for watching, guys. If you have any doubts, please post them in the comment section. I'll be very happy. And stay tuned for Ashank sir's class, which will be coming after some time on C++ conditional statements. Okay. And if you are new to the channel, I am requesting once again to all of you, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon, because that will be a very good gift to us, you can say. Thank you for watching. Till the next time, this is Saurabh signing off. Bye bye and happy learning. Thank you.